Hello class, for my artist research project presentation, I did image 238, Electronic Superhighway by Namjoon Pike, and image 159, the city of Cusco. The Super Electronic Highway was made in 1995, and the dimensions are 15 by 4 by 40, and the medium and materials used to make this unique piece are 336 televisions, 50 VHS players, 3,750 feet of cable, and 575 feet of neon tubing. The time period in which this piece was made in was the late 20th century, which would classify it to be a modern contemporary piece, and its current location is in the Smithsonian American Art Museum in Washington, D.C. Various techniques were used to make this piece, but the most important one was the bending of neon tubing. So there's a lot going on with this art piece, but to start, it was crafted with the use of technology, and what I mean by that is there's so much technology incorporated within the art itself, and besides the neon tubing, there are actual TVs placed behind to create a new aspect of technology in electronic algorithms. Also, many tests were carried out to assure that all the components of the piece functioned as they were intended to do so, because that's where the immersive experience comes from. I feel like the most obvious part of this piece is the processed hardware elements like LED lights and bent neon tubing, which is where the saturation and color comes from. Behind the neon display, you can see some TVs in the back, and in order to play individual films on each one, databases were utilized, and this is what makes it so unique. The artist wanted to make this piece very immersive for his audience, so he added biometric sensors, information carriers, and cabling, which created responsive architecture to elevate the viewing experience. Something that the artist really wanted to focus on was the contrast of light and dark elements, and this is why it's placed in a dark setting. Many geometric shapes are used to create balance and dynamic within the art piece, and abstract shapes are used for an innovative look. Some cultural references and symbolism that I wanted to point out in this piece was each line representing the U.S. interstate highway system and new innovative technology releasing within the 1990s. Another cultural reference within this piece was the use of technology and how it was becoming an integral part of the natural world. The main function of this piece was to combine the aspects of the natural world, art, and technology all in a large public space. This piece was meant to immerse viewers into the art and captivate them through the sensory experience and innovative elements. Besides the piece communicating the use of technology in the modern world, it also challenged viewers' opinions on the impact of computer programming on society. This piece was placed in a large public setting to reach as many people as possible. Something that I think is vital to mention is that this piece revolves around technology and digital landscaping, which involves the users in a unique and a dynamic way. Not only can this art piece provide an exquisite experience for its viewers, but it also communicates the advanced technology that is yet to come after the 1900s. Something that I think is really cool within this art piece is that within each state, there is a quintessential figure or something signature to that place. Namjoon Pike, the artist of this piece, was born in South Korea in 1932, and he was a very significant pioneer within video art as he was associated with the Fluxus movement. The Fluxus movement was basically an experimental approach to art, as video art was not a solidified medium at that time. Themes explored within this piece is globalization and the impact of technology on the world in the 20th century. The culture in which it was created in uses technology to push the boundaries of common art mediums. Some economic factors that influenced the work was the rise of consumerism and the more common use of technology in everyday life. Because this piece was made by a very open-minded artist, the piece was left open for interpretation for the audience to decide. The city of Cusco was patroned by Inca ruler Pachacuti and Sapa. The small city stands at 148.7 miles big, and it was made from adobe mud bricks, stone, wood, plaster, metal, and clay. This piece was made in the 11th to 12th century under the Inca civilization. The city itself is surrounded by the Andes mountain range in southeastern Peru. The whole city was built using Inca construction techniques like dry stone masonry. These geometric shaped stones would be placed on walls. The architectural landscaping around the city consisted of cobblestone streets and Inca buildings with relief and carvings signature to the Inca. Along with the urban type layout all around the city, Dark colors like dark browns, reds, and dusty shades were used to complement the mountains and the landscaping. A very common architectural theme within the city were courtyards. Courtyards could be seen in front of homes and buildings. The stones along the walls in the city came from the Andes mountain range, and they used these stones due to the durability. The city of Cusco is primarily made as the capital city of the Inca Empire. Around the city were political, religious, and council buildings for the empire's people. The Inca ruler Sapa used this city to govern. This city was a place that fostered cultural exchange and new innovations. Additionally, the Inca believed in the divine right to rule in all aspects of life, meaning that the ruler, Sapa, chose to be the patron of the work. This city was considered the Inca capital until the 16th century. The city was purposefully placed behind the Andes mountain range as it provides additional security and defense. Invading armies would have trouble overcoming the large climb over such mountains. Another reason why this land and the mountains were so sacred to the Inca was because they felt close to their deities when surrounded by higher ground. The city was filled with religious motifs and iconography of deities. The narrative being conveyed to those who go in the city is the spiritual and cultural identity of the Inca civilization as a whole. Symbols of Cusco can be spotted all throughout the urban landscape. Additionally, the ideas of social constructs and dynamics can be spotted. In the religion of the Inca people, divine rule was very significant as well. Common architectural themes in the city included the huge stone walls with masonry and trapezoidal doorways and window frames within homes. While on the topic of architectural themes, there are many agricultural terraces and water systems for irrigation. For the Inca people, adding religious aspects to everything was very important. You can spot various motifs on buildings like stars, the sun, and the moon. Celestial deities were a huge idea in Cusco City. The city was founded between the 11th and 13th century, and it reached its peak during the rule of Pachacuti Inca Yupanqui. After the 15th century, the Spanish conquest of Cusco during the 16th century marked the end of the empire. During the 16th century, the city of Cusco soon turned into a devotion place for Inti, the sun god. In this religiously devout city, religious ceremonies would be done in temples in large groups to commemorate the lives of deities. During the construction of the city, the sun god would guide the designs of the memorials and temples. The target audience for the city were priests, artisans, traders, and travelers that would devote their lives to the Inca gods. The attribution piece that I chose was the TV Garden by Nam June Paik, done in 1974. This unique exhibit is now in the Guggenheim Museum in New York City. A similarity between the TV Garden and the Electronic Superhighway was that they both explored the theme of technological advances in the world. They both share the mutual theme of new aesthetic discourse with a modern and futuristic feel. The TV Garden and the Electronic Superhighway both share a futuristic landscape where technology is a part of the natural world, hence the plants, natural, and the TVs, man-made. Both pieces are also open for interpretation by viewers. Additionally, they're placed in public places with high foot traffic in order to reach diverse individuals. Technology is yet again used as a medium. Lastly, both pieces are a reflection of contemporary culture. They are both interactive and immersive experiences for viewers while incorporating technology.